Hi friends, I'm starting a new thing called Storytime Sunday. I have a lot of stories I want to pass down to my kids, and I love to blog, but there are some things that can't be written the same way they can be spoken. So my first story is about the time I went to Austria and I tore the ligaments in my ankle, or so the doctor said. They didn't actually do any x-rays or anything like that. So what happened was I went to close a window that was open at this cabin we were staying with. I did a unofficial exchange. So what I did was I went over for 5 weeks and stayed in Austria, and then I brought home the family's daughter with me for 5 weeks. And anyway, when I was stepping back down, I totally turned my ankle sideways and landed on it, and I waited for it to, get better. I thought I could maybe walk off the pain, but it just was not going to get better. And when I looked at my foot a while later, I knew I had done something really bad to it. It was just one big swollen bruise. And I was stuck on this retreat and couldn't really do much about it at the moment. But when I got back to my host family, it was culture shock, because I was used to, ice packs and that sort of thing. And they take a spatula and they start slapping this white stuff on my foot. And I realized the other day, I remembered what it was called. It's called Topfen. That's what he called it. So I looked it up the other day, wondering if I just imagined that's what the word was. And it turns out there's been some Olympic athletes who use it on sprains and that sort of thing. So it's a type of curd, not proven to actually work. So I was screaming when they were putting it on, because it was really cold, and my host dad said, "Don't you want it to get better?" I'm like, well, yeah, but I just wasn't so sure that was doing anything to put dairy product on my foot. Anyway, so I got more fun after that. They took me to the doctor, and he said my ligaments were torn, and he just taped it up and sent me limping away. They didn't give me any crutches or anything. And then maybe a couple days after that, my host dad said, "Tomorrow we're going to take you to get a nice foot massage." And I said, "Won't that hurt?" And he goes, "Oh, no, it'll feel good." Yeah, he was totally lying to me. So what happened was he took me to this guy named Khalifa. I still remember his name somehow. And this guy, I think I have a mosquito on me. This guy didn't speak hardly any English at all, and I was left alone in the room with him. And what he did was he took his thumb and he started pressing as hard as he could by my pinky toe, and he rubbed it all over my entire foot and ankle for at least a half an hour. And the whole area was a swollen bruise. It was excruciating, and I actually had gouge marks from his thumbnail afterwards. And what was explained to me later was he thought he was magnetically making my ligaments grow back together. And I am just screaming bloody murder. I'm yelling at him in German to stop. I had only had a year of German, but I did know how to tell someone to stop it. And he goes, "Oh, it's okay, it's okay." I'm like, "It's not okay!" And then I just was so desperate to get out of there. When he made me get off the table, he told me to hop on my foot. And I don't know how I did it. I just basically pushed off of his arms and tried to convince him that I could do it, because I was afraid if I couldn't do it, he was going to put me back on the table and torture me some more. And my host dad comes back, and I am looking at him like, I want to kill you. I have just tears everywhere. And he felt so guilty. He took me to the McDonald's in Salzburg. a familiar place. Anyway, so then we get back to the house, and he has a friend over named Wolfy. And my host dad says, "Don't limp." And I said, I can't really help it. He goes, "Well, you weren't limping earlier." I said, "Yeah, I think I was." And then his friend Wolfy says, "If you think it's gebroken, it's gebroken. But if you think it's okay, it's okay. Your foot only hurts because you think it hurts. And when my wife goes to the hospital to have a baby, actually what he said was, I'm not going to take my wife to the hospital when she has a baby because she only thinks it hurts." And I'm trying hard to be respectful of my elders and just didn't know what to say. Like, this guy just told me that childbirth is only painful because a woman thinks it's painful. Like, oh, well, you're only hemorrhaging because you think you're hemorrhaging. So I just excused myself to the bathroom, and then my host mom followed me in there and says, "Just so you know, I don't agree with them." And I said, "Oh, is it because you gave birth 2 times and you know that it hurts like blazes?" So if you ever go to a foreign country, I don't recommend hurting yourself. Oh yeah, it still gets better. So they took me to a zoo, I think somewhere in Italy, and you have to pay to go to the bathroom when you're in Europe, and sometimes they also give you an allowed amount of toilet paper. So I already paid. And I go into the stall, and I thought, oh, this one must be out of order. There's no toilet in here. And then I go to the next stall, and there's still no toilet. And then I realized, oh my gosh, no, you got to be kidding me. It's a hole in the ground, and I couldn't squat because I was still injured, and there was nothing to hold on to or anything. And I did everything I could, but it just wasn't going to work. So I went back out and told my host mom, I just paid to not go to the bathroom, and I was just fuming mad. And so they ended up having to drive me to a restaurant so I could go to the bathroom. And for the next 4 weeks, I got dragged all over Austria and part of Italy, injured, walking everywhere, very miserably. So I'd like to go there again with my husband someday and be in full control of all of my choices, and if something were to happen, demand crutches or something, or a wheelchair. Anyway, that's the story I wanted to pass on to my posterity. Do you have a good story? Let me know.